1. So today's topic, it's writing Python methods. You remember in the previous session, we were discussing that if we have a big application, big program, we need to decompose this application, break it down into smaller parts. Then we can call these parts, and we have used the word processor as a big example. So we have small part for saving the file, small part for printing the file, and so on. So we can call this part or bulk of code like method. So we are discussing here the writing Python methods, and we will write some methods together. So I know everyone has Sony. Good idea to start your Sony if it's not started yet. Sony is the Python interpreter we are using in our delivery, but you can use any interpreter you like. So we are starting with different methods, and we think about a method as a mini program. So this mini program will get arguments or receive arguments from other methods, from other parts of the programs, of the big program. And it has its own variables and blocks of code. So the variables within the method cannot be seen outside of the method. You will notice sometimes we call it module, sometimes we call it method, same thing. So the output of the method will be input to other methods or other parts of the program. So we don't really print the result to the screen. We will return the result and get this result and using it in other calculations. Okay, calculations or process, of course, processes. So the method will have well-defined interface. So inputs and their types, valid ranges, result, and its type, what the method does on error. We need to think about that. If there is an error, so we need to do something. Maybe we need to run or stop. We need to stop the current process or stop the application, or we ask the user for some input or display an error message and so forth. So our first method is a simple one. We will call it max of 2 values. So we will call it this way. You can give it any name you like, but here for the training purposes, we call it max of 2 values. And this method will return the biggest of 2 integer values. So you notice here we have the bound or the hash. So this means this is a comment. Then we are defining the method. So max of 2 values, we are giving 2 values here. Then A and B are the argument variables. So if A is bigger, return its value. Otherwise, return B's value. So we ask a simple question. If A is greater than B, don't forget the colon, then return A, else, don't forget the colon, return B. I got a nice question asking about difference between a function and a method. We have built-in functions, which is a method, but the method we create ourselves. So you can say function and method is the same thing, but we can create the method. So function, usually we call or we use the word function for built-in methods in Python. Okay, I hope this answered the question. So here, as I mentioned, the method is defined. It receives 2 arguments, which are stored in variables A and B. there is no return variable, we use this one. So instead, the return function operation stops the execution of the method and return the values in parentheses as the answer. So there is absolutely no interaction with the user. So let's run Thony and type this simple method. So please get your Thony and type the method. Let me get my Thony here, close this one, get a new one. And can you do that, please, everyone? So I bet you are faster than me, so please work on that. Continue. Okay. Let me save this one and max of 2 values. So run, nothing displayed. Nothing displayed. Why?
Gotta change your second return, I think, Sam, without a capital.
Ah, yes. Yes, this is the thing, but also when we run, nothing displayed. Why? Because we didn't use any print to the screen commands, okay? Okay, thank you for correcting this one. I did it by mistake. Okay. So everyone done with this part? Just simple code here, then you save the file.
Would you, if you were, say you wanted to actually request A and B from a user, would you change it in the definition then to
We ask
to-
input.
to
We
input
Mhm.
input and then another input?
Yeah, you can ask for input from the user, but
Two
here,
inputs?
yes, but here we don't need to get the input from the user because this is just just an example of working methods. So here on the screen telling you, yeah, try to run, everything is fine, nothing happens. Why? Because everything still in the memory. So we just defined the method. Please, I'll just go a little bit back. So to the first slide. So here, this is the keyword for defining the method. You can give any name, 2 variables, then we are comparing them with if. So if this condition is true, so this function will be executed. This command, this instruction will be executed. So if this one is true, so the application will return A. Good. If it's false, so we have else, it will return B. Okay. Is there any possibility of error could happen here? If I'm getting this input from the user, as Woody suggested we can get A and B values, then we run the method. So is there any possibility for an error?
It could be the same number.
Exactly, yes. So at a later stage, we need to think about that. What will happen if the input in A and B is the same number? So what we're gonna do? Should we ask again the user display error message, or what to do? So we need to think about that. At the moment, please, I'm just taking it simple steps. Some of you never seen programming before, so it's fine. Just we are learning from scratch, so we are taking simple steps. I know we studied the previous unit, but after all 2 units only in programming, we wouldn't and never make you a programmer until you read more and more. So if you go through the material, the book, you finish the whole book, you try everything there, you watch all the videos, and you add more, yes, you are starting as a professional programmer. Anyway, let me continue. So nothing happens. Why? We don't have any function or any instruction saying print on the screen, display on the screen, anything. So we just typed the definition of the method, and we didn't yet try to use the method. We need to call the method. So at the bottom of your file, please add the following lines. I will do the same. So let me make this one a little bit smaller so I can type. So let's go here, hash main program, then x equals 23, y equals 98. So max equal, then we call the method max of 2 values x comma y. Then now we will print on the screen. So print max is comma max. Then we run and see what's happening. Okay. Is it working with you guys? So here. Working, nothing happened. Darius, working with you, Darius. Okay, good. Yep, okay. It seems I did a mistake, but I couldn't actually. Let me put some spaces. Run. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's running. Oh my God. I'm getting old. Yes, I'm getting old. Let me.
Mine's not running.
Yours is not working. Mine is working. You see down there, everything is working. But I was just.
I know why.
Okay.
I misspelled my original variable at the top.
Okay. Good. So mine is working. Yes, yes, I'm a programmer. Yes. So mine is working also, Darius, not only you. I was in doubt. Okay, is it working with everyone? It's working, Sheena, working, okay. Just copied me, Darius, but I was under impression I'm a bad programmer and I'm a bad teacher, by the way. So I was thinking, not cheating, that's cheating. Not really, we aren't training. Yes, you will be all right. Thank you. She will be right, okay. So it's working with everyone. I hate case sensitive function names. You can make it small letters. So, okay. Yes, I do. Is that a kind of laziness? You don't want to use your shift key? Okay, let me save. Yes, I just want to save my artwork. Okay, good. Now we added the two values here in the variables. So we added the values here, then we run this one. Again, these are like static variables. We can ask the user as Woody said, we can ask the user for values. Then we call the method. So what we did here, so first thing, we added the values, then new variable here called max. Then we called the method and applying the method on the two new variables x and y. Then the method runs and everything is fine. Okay, so we can use the method over and over again. Yes. Then let's add a few more lines to the bottom of our code. So now get user input. Good. So let me go back here to my Sony. My nice Sony is working. Don't doubt your Sony Sam again. Okay, so we are here. Let me give it. Input. So num1 equal integer. Then let's save and run. See what's happening. So it's asking me now. It's printed the first one, then asking me enter a whole number. So
Are
let's
you
say,
gonna comment out that first bit that you've
yeah, you can.
got
Yes,
made as main program now?
yes, you can. So
I just modified mine.
okay.
So I made X as the first number and Y as the second number instead of making two new extra variables to do it all over again.
Okay. So Jeff
I don't know what everybody else did.
Jeff is not the only lazy student.
Well, is it lazy or is the code more optimal?
It's a smart thing. Okay, now let's try enter a whole number. Let's say 90. Okay. Second, let's say 40. And let's play. So the biggest is 90. Yes. Optimal. Yes, Jeff. It's working. It's working. Yes. Copy and paste is your friend. Yes, correct, Darius.
Mm-hmm.
With modification.
I will not tell a lie. When
Just-
I code in
just-
Python, it's very likely I'll open the last 2 or 3 programs I coded in Python just to jog my brain a little bit.
Okay, just a reminder, we are recording this session.
I know, I remember.
Okay, good. So done with this part. So it's really good. Now we have a class activity. You can do this one after I finish the delivery because we are recording and I want to cover what is there. So in your activity, after we finish the delivery, you will write the definition of a method that find the biggest of 3 integer values instead of 2. What will the interface definition be? What will the algorithm be? How can you return all 3 possible values? Only write the method for now. Don't write any code to call it. We will review your implementations. This is, if you want to share this one with me on Discord, it will be fine, or email, or even the chat here. So we need to think about the method. We need to plan ahead. We need to think about naming. So Jeff gave us some insights about naming. What type of naming? If really I'm giving the name of method 1, method 2, method 3, after method maybe 6 or 7, I will forget what is this method about. So it's better to give it a meaningful name for its function. What is the functionality there? So this is for the method. If needed, your method can call other methods to get the work done. Of course, top-down design, if you remember, until we reach the smallest problems. So here we have the solution for the activity, but I want you to try first. So maybe it's a good idea to give you 10 minutes to try about that without looking. I can pause the recording for 10 minutes until you try this one. So before we continue, and I don't want to confuse everyone, so I will stop the recording for 10 minutes. 10 minutes or 5? Can you do it in 5? 5 or 10? Any answers? For the activity, do you need 5 minutes or 10 minutes?
Maybe make it 10, Sam.
10, okay. You wanna grab a coffee? Tell me. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pause the recording for 10 minutes. Okay, that's good. So 10 minutes was enough. Okay, 10 minutes were enough to do that. Okay, good. We have yeah, some participants, they submitted on the chat. Okay, that's good. Is it working? Everything is fine. Okay, there are some questions also on the chat. regarding the top-down design, it is when you design, when you create the algorithm. Okay, when you create the algorithm, you think about how you will decompose and break down the big idea. But after that, you will translate that into pseudocode. Then from the pseudocode to whatever programming language we do. So here we are using Python. So I hope this is clear enough. Okay. Now, here we go. This is the biggest of 3 algorithms. So we have here return the biggest of 3 integers. So we will define whatever the name x, y, z, if x is greater than y and x greater than z. So return x. Then if y greater than x and y greater than z, then return y. If z is greater than x and z is greater than y, return z. So this is one way. We have another way. So if x is greater than y, if this is true, then ask another question. X is greater than z. Yes, so we will go into the next one, return x, else return z. Then this else belongs to this f. It's a bit here complex than this one, but some participants will think this one is simpler, so it's up to you. So we have 2 ways here to do that. You can do it in other ways also. These are not the only 2 solutions. No, you can come up with whatever you want. We have, yes, Woody almost done the same thing, and Leo also did some stuff. Okay, thank you. So this is the algorithm. So here there is another activity you call your method. So you will write some main program code to call your maximum of 3 method as a caller of the method, name of the method with parentheses, list of argument values in the parentheses, do something with the returned result. So here we have some examples of calling the method. So a equals 12. Of course, we can ask the user to input these values. Then the answer, which is a new variable, will call the 3 max ABC, then print the answer, which is this variable. Then print another way. You can do it in one line like that. So print 3 max 467. Okay. So
as far as I can tell, they're using the word method interchangeably for what I learned a function to be when I learned to code. I don't know if anybody else is having the same sort of feeling.
it's the same thing, you mean? You mean
Like
method is the same as function?
Method is the same as function, which is this. I also learned just before that in Python, it's called definite. It's called def, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just like in your pseudocode terms, it would be like one of your little bubbles in your flow chart of your pseudocode. Pseudocode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. They mean the same thing. Yeah.
As far as I can tell from the context in the rest of the slide.
Yeah.
That this method means the same as function.
Yes. Okay. Leo saying methods are functions that are inside a class. So what is the class, Leo? Julian saying they mean the same thing to me. Okay. So we have here another activity to count predefined libraries, Darius. We can call it module also. Predefined libraries equals the classes. Okay. Like library for displaying on the screen, or print library, or check spelling library, something like that. Okay. So here on this slide, we have another activity to count uppercase. So method argument can be any Python type, integer, float, string, boolean, etc. That to the returned value. So write a Python method that has one argument, a string, return an integer value, return the number of uppercase letters in the string. Think what will I call the method, what will the algorithm be, how do I access each letter in the string in turn. So here I called my method count upper. So here we are printing or print count upper TF Queensland. So sentence input interline of text, then count upper sentence, which is this one, then print that has count uppercase letters. So we are calling the method here. So the code for this one, linear search. So this is the method to count the number of uppercase. So we will define count upper string, then starting from 0, then for ch in string, if ch is greater than or equal a plus, and ch is smaller than or less than or equal z, capital Z, capital A, count plus 1. So what does that mean? If you remember the ASCII code, each capital, small, letter, alphabetic, symbol, everything has a code in ASCII. So this code, of course, in decimal, then we can convert it into hex or oct or binary. So if here this condition, if we have any letter between A and Z, so including A and Z themselves, so we will increase the counter by 1, starting from 0. So we will increase the counter by 1. So it has to be between or within the range from A capital till Z capital, including A and Z, of course. So it will return the count. Does that make sense? Make sense for everyone? So we have ASCII code. Do you remember the ASCII code? Yes. So this condition saying that so ASCII table. So here, everything capital letters. I hope we can get the big one. Yes, good. So if we go to A capital, so the condition there saying any value including A capital till Z capital, if the value is there, so increase the counter by 1. So it will check for the value. Okay, now I think it's make more sense. So the counter will start from 0. We will have a for loop to access each character. So this one will run and check the 26 characters. Yeah, use of ASCII range to find uppercase. Count will have a value regardless of argument. Method has an API comment, important. So you can compare two strings also in other activity. So it's a really good idea to try the other activities. Then I'll give you some time, or during the break, you can do that, because we will have a break before our second topic. So here we have example of calling of the method. So we have main program. Then for variable A, we are getting some text from the user. For variable B, we are getting some text. Then if same strings, A, B, print, they are the same, else they are different. So it will compare two strings. Okay. Now this method will take two strings and returns true if they are the same, false otherwise. So we will define same strings with two variables, s1, s2, string 1, string 2. Then different if length don't match. So if length, we are checking, you remember the length function from previous unit. So if length of s1 not equal to, if you remember the comparison here, not equal to less length of s2, so return false. Walk across both strings. So for I in range 0 till length of s1, compare characters. Then if s1i, which is this one, not equal to s2i, so return also false. So we fell out of the loop. All characters must therefore be the same, then return true otherwise. So note the commenting, it's very important. So really, we need to think about that. So now we got arguments and we have seen the methods. We can call them in the main program. Then we use the input to get the data from the user. So we can also pass the arguments to the main program. So it can come from command line, shell prompt, or command window. So you can, if you want to do that, you can import some Darius, yes, the answer for your question, Darius asking a good question. Can you call a method from inside another method? Yes, and it's mentioned on the slides in the beginning of this presentation. So here, what we are doing here, it's using command line for command line arguments. No, it's fine, Darius, it's fine, no problem, don't worry, we are in training session, don't worry at all. So I'm just kidding a lot. So I'm joking. So you need to import Python package here, so we can have the command line arguments, and we can get the import sys. So the sys.argv, then you can use the Python in shell prompt in Linux or Windows command window. So here, this is what you do if you want to use that. So import sys, this is the main program. Then after we importing this part, we will we can use the and run the command line arguments. So in Linux, it will look like that. In Sony, you will run same string and just another way of doing things. So here it's running Python, then the Python file. Okay. Why are you using methods? To deal with complex problems and breaking them down into smaller ones. Okay, so we can improve methods. So I can assign one method to Leo, one method to Woody, one method to Darius, one method to Kyle, and so forth. So they can each person or each team can work on the method, create the most the most achievable performance method. So they will work on that for the quality and everything. So we have some additional questions here and challenges. Good idea to go through them also. So why doesn't this method work? So definition, swap values, A and B, temp, A equals B, B equals temp. So main program tried 12, 17 swap values, XY, print XY. So have a look here and tell me your opinion. Then we have also challenge, write method to receive a list of integers, sort them using bubble sort and return the sorted list. In the challenge 2, get the list to sort from the command line, print the sorted list on the screen. So please try these additional activities and challenges. Any questions? I will stop the recording, then we'll take 15 minutes break, then we'll continue with the next topic. Okay, so let me show you what we have in the next topic. So we have the exercise, of course. In the exercise, we have exercise 1. So this is really good. Then exercise 2, 3, about these ones. Then exercise 4, 5, almost things we did. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 exercises. So yeah, good exercises. Good exercises. Yeah, for the weekend. you have the rest of the week to play with that, but this will give you lots and lots of hands-on and experience. So this is the exercise. The next topic after the break, we are discussing the exceptions and testing. If we have a problem, if we have an error, what our program and code should do and how we think about that. So I'll stop the recording now and we'll be back after 15 minutes. Please also, after stopping the recording, if you have a question, feel free to ask me.